Let me ask you something very quick. Have you ever thought of starting your own YouTube channel? Or maybe you even have started one, and then after just a few videos, you kind of just quit? I mean, no uploads, no momentum, and definitely zero results. And you start thinking to yourself, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I wasn't meant to be a YouTuber. Well, listen, if that's you, you are not alone, okay? In fact, most people who start a YouTube channel tend to go through this and usually don't make it past their first 10 videos. And that's not because they're not talented, and that's not because they don't have anything valuable to say, but because they all fall into that same trap, the same mindset mistakes, and the same misunderstandings about how YouTube actually works. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through why most beginners fail, and most importantly, how you can avoid it. Because first of all, I've made these mistakes myself, and if you can avoid them, it'll give you a massive advantage. So first up, reason one, expecting results too fast. I mean, this is probably the biggest one, if I'm honest. Most people come into YouTube thinking, you know, I'll post a few videos, maybe one of them will go viral, and then I'm off, right? I mean, that sounds great, but that's not reality. What actually happens is this. You post your first video, maybe it gets 3 views, maybe less. Like maybe your mom watches, your friend watches, and maybe the other one was an accident. And that moment right there, that's where most people quit. And that's because their expectations were completely off. And the truth of the matter is, YouTube is not a viral platform first. It's a learning platform. The first 10, 20, even 50 videos might flop, but that's not failing. That's you learning along the way. How to speak on camera, how to structure your content, how to hook attention, how to title and thumbnail, SEO, and the list goes on and on and on. So how can we avoid this then? Well, it really does take a shift of your mindset. Instead of saying, I need results right away, you have to switch it up to, I'm building skills right now in this moment. And skills take time to learn. And if you treat your first 30 videos like practice, you will instantly separate yourself from the other 90% of people who just quit. So, reason number 2, quitting way too early. And this really does tie directly into the first reason. Most people don't fail because they're bad. They fail because they stop. And the worst part, they usually stop right before things start to click for them. And so here's what happens. At the beginning, you don't know what you're doing. That's just a fact. Your videos are going to feel awkward, they're going to be awkward, and they're going to be a bit cringe. Your editing will be very basic. Your confidence probably not very high. But what you don't see is that you are improving with every single upload, even if the views aren't showing it yet. So sometimes we need what I would like to call a reality check, okay? YouTube does reward consistency over time, not perfection, not talent, consistency. So how can we avoid quitting too early then? Make one simple rule for yourself. I will post 30 videos no matter what. No overthinking, no quitting early, and no judging results too soon, because most people quit at like video 7. You're going to win simply by continuing. Okay, now reason number 3, overcomplicating everything. And this is a huge one, I gotta say. Beginners tend to think that they need expensive cameras, or perfect lighting, or advanced editing skills, 10 different types of software before they've even started. And so what inevitably happens? They get overwhelmed and never end up creating anything. Spread too thin and trying to learn all these things at once can really hinder somebody's growth. And the truth is, you really only need 3 things to start. Something to say, a way to record, and a simple way to edit. And that's it. It's just that simple. I'll give you an example. Here's what I use. My current stack is perfect for anyone starting up YouTube, okay? ChatGPT for scripts, Canva for some visuals, CapCut for editing, and you don't need anything else right now in this moment. And how can we avoid overcomplicating everything? Well, simple. Simplify everything. Ask yourself, what is the fastest way I can make this video? Not the best, the fastest. Not the most polished, the fastest. Because speed equals repetitions, and repetitions equals improvement, and improvement equals growth. Okay, reason number 4, ignoring titles and thumbnails. And this one right here is a silent killer. Most people focus all of their efforts on the video itself, and almost none on how people actually find this video. And your packaging really does say a lot about the quality and content of the things you create. If a video took you 10 days to make, make and your thumbnail took you 30 seconds to make, probably on the wrong track. So let me say this clearly. If nobody clicks, nobody watches. It doesn't matter how good your content is. If you don't package it well, you're gonna have a bad time. So here's what actually drives views. Your title, your thumbnail, that's the first impression. That's the decision point, whether a person's gonna click or scroll. Some common beginner mistakes in this regard. Titles like my first YouTube video or learning editing day one. Nobody is searching that. Nobody is clicking that. You understand? Too simple, not enough meat to it. So how can you avoid this? Make your content about the viewer. Instead of my journey starting YouTube, say why most beginners fail on YouTube. You know, you see the difference there? One is about you, the other is about them. Always choose them. People watching want to relate to your content, right? So that seems like a pretty good point to make. Reason number 5, no plan or direction. And this is a really massive one as well. And this one can be kind of sneaky too, because you might be uploading, but you're uploading randomly. No tact, no structure, no consistency in your topics, no real direction. And this kind of looks like one video about editing, one about motivation, a random vlog, or something on a completely different topic. And then YouTube is all like, I don't know who I'm supposed to send your stuff to. You end up confusing the algorithm. And the truth of the matter here, YouTube needs clarity in that regard. It needs to understand who your content is for and what problem you're solving. So a great way to avoid lack of plan or direction is pick a lane, one for yourself that's clear, like myself. Beginner YouTube tutorials, real talk about the journey, simple tools and strategies. And now everything connects, you see? Now your channel makes sense as a whole. And now YouTube can actually push your content. The real reason people fail. Now I'm gonna get honest with you for a second, okay? It's not just strategy and it's not just skill. I'll tell you, it's this. Talking to a camera is weird at first, okay? And seeing low views is very discouraging. And not really knowing what you're doing can be an extremely frustrating process. That's been my experience, right? And the simple truth is people just don't push through this stage. And that's really the meat of the issue. You've got to stay consistent and persevere even when things aren't always going your way. And it's a battle and it can be difficult, but it can be won. And all of those top creators have gone through that gauntlet and come out the other end. So here's a reality check for you. And think about it this way. That uncomfortable phase that you're gonna go through in the beginning, well, that's the price of entry, right? Every single person you watch on YouTube, you know, they went through that exact stage and they didn't quit. So you can take that to the bank. So if I could start all things over, what would I do different? And what could I stress to you to hopefully learn before you start? If I could start from zero, I would pick a clear, beginner-friendly niche for one. I'd use only simple tools and keep it relatively cost-effective, and then slowly introduce other softwares as I have time to learn them. Post 30 videos without judging first. Really try to focus on your titles and your thumbnails. Can't stress that enough. And try to improve at least one thing every single video. And that's it. No overthinking, no perfection, just progress. So if you're starting a YouTube channel right now, or even thinking about it, I want you to understand something, okay? You're not behind, you're not too late, and you do not need to be perfect, okay? Trust me, I know I'm not. You just need to start, because that's really the difference, okay? Not talent, not luck, just consistency. So if you're on this journey right now, this channel is probably for you. I'm trying to build this in real time, figuring things out as I go and sharing everything that I've learned along the way. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, well, hit subscribe and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. All right, check you later.